Welcome to Let's Make a Profit podcast. This podcast was designed to be informational on the Profit First method, the highs and lows of being a business owner, and really owning your financials. Did you know that 83% of all small businesses run check to check? This is a statistic by the U.S. banking industry, and they did, figure out that we run our businesses basically, check to check. So, the purpose of this is really just to say, hey, are you tired of not paying yourself your value, losing your why in the process, and working in your business rather than on your business? We are here to help you through this process, and I'm also here to help you just not be part of that 83% group. My name is Rebecca Howell, and I'm owner and operator of Custom Bookkeeping and Accounting Solutions. I'm also an enrolled agent with the IRS and a certified Profit First professional. I'm going to take just a minute to thank my sponsors before I get into today's podcast. Doctors Bo and Jamie Mullen and their staff at Harbor Life Chiropractic, they want to help you in unleashing your health potential. Tim and Sadie Marlowe at BD Local Podcast Studio, thanks for helping us make our podcast great. Roger Sargent with Affluence Business Solutions, helping the small business owner and their teams with their business development and leadership skills. So on my last podcast, I started off the new year and I said that we were going to start the new year off right. And I talked about the first phase of Profit First and really how simple it was. I mean, the simple process of opening your bank accounts and starting with 1% profit being transferred from your income account into your profit account. And you're on your way to starting to be permanently profitable. Today, we're going to talk about the second phase, which is really the nuts and bolts, the nitty-gritty of Profit First, and how you actually go from phase one into phase two and starting on implementing Profit First and getting it going in your business. And then I'm going to do another podcast on the final process, the final step, which is the rhythm and repeat step. So, successful entrepreneurship is not easy, but it can be a whole lot simpler. So as I stated, really recapping on that, about getting, basically, like I said, I told you guys to get your butt to the bank. And I hope that some of you listened to me and actually started to get your butt to the bank and open your bank accounts. But then again, did you start transferring your 1%? If you didn't do my simple instructions. So if you haven't opened the bank, got your butt to the bank and opened your bank accounts, please do so and then start processing that 1%. Because until you start that process, the second phase is going to seem extremely daunting until you actually start getting into the process of seeing the bank accounts and seeing your profit account growing. So I'm going to cover bases on what those fundamental bank accounts are again. You're going to need an income account, a profit account, an owner's pay account, a tax account, and an operating expense account. Those are the 5 fundamental accounts that are needed for Profit First. Some businesses will need additional accounts depending on their business, and that's something that can always be discussed to see if you need those additional accounts for certain purposes. Okay, so I had a little note in here. Just go back and listen to episode 10 of my podcast, and it'll tell you exactly what you're supposed to do in step 1. So, stage 2 is really the execute phase. This is where we're going to really, like I said, implement Profit First into your business. We're going to dive into the what exists in the execute phase. So, you might be here because you're a fan of Profit First. Maybe you've read some of the book. Maybe you've read all the book, but don't know where to start. Maybe you've opened up your bank accounts, or maybe you haven't even heard of Profit First. You don't even know what it is. Are you interested in something different in your business? Maybe you've made profit, but have not properly planned for your taxes. Do you have debt? Have you been paying yourself a reasonable salary? Do you have cash on hand to match your profits? I'm here to bring clarity to all of these statements or these questions that I've asked. Doing profit first right, what does that mean? So again, when I talked on my last podcast, I talked about what the purposes of those accounts. And as I explained, the owner's pay and the taxes and the profit account, what you've done is by opening those accounts, you've labeled them, you've given them purpose. You've said that my money is going to be divided into these different bank accounts, and that money is supposed to be used for those purposes. So really doing profit first is remarkably easy once you start allocating into your profit account. Like I said, that 1%, you're on your way to being permanently profitable. You just have to remember to keep transferring that 1%. And I'm not saying that the 1%, I keep hitting on that and saying, hey, you just need to keep moving forward with the 1%. That's not what your ultimate profit percentage is going to be. But the whole point of this is starting small and starting slow. Because if you try to go out of the gate too quickly, you're going to run into some trouble because you haven't really properly understood how your money works for your business, and then how can you meet all of those necessary accounts, plates, small plates. We call them a lot of different things. So Profit First is a behavioral cash management system. Every time you log into your bank, and we all do this, it's a habit we already do it. So I'm not necessarily asking you to change a habit that you're already doing. You log into your bank account, you check your bank balances, and that makes your decision on what you're going to do with your money that day. Are you going to go buy something? Are you going to let that advertiser or that product salesman sell you these things that he thinks you need in your business or they think you need in your business? Can you make those decisions based on your money? Maybe you've got payroll next week and you have to look at, do I have enough money for payroll? Or in turn, do I have money for payroll and these expenses? So you look at your money and you say, okay, I either have it or I don't. But you're looking at one bank account right now, maybe two. Maybe you set up another account for a savings account, might be a tax account, might be your payroll account. I mean, I know a lot of businesses run with, all businesses run with one, but possibly maybe run with two. But what you're doing is you're looking at your money as a whole, and it's not helping you to see the bigger picture of what the purpose of your money is. So this really comes back to a conversation I have every year, and I'm sure I'm going to have very many of them as I'm getting into tax season, about people creating profit and they haven't planned for their taxes. So they looked at that big picture account and said, I have the money to spend, and I spend and I spend and I spend and I spend. But then at the end of the year, you owe $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to the bank account. To the IRS. And you go, I don't have that money because we didn't plan for it. And that's really what the purpose of this Profit First method is, to help you plan for your taxes, prove that you have a profitable business, and also help you pay yourself, because everybody goes to the bank, they pull out the money, they transfer the money, and they don't really allocate it. They don't think about it. So you get to the end of the year and you've taken $40,000 or $50,000 out of your business when you really could have paid yourself a payroll. You could have paid yourself a salary, paid in some of those taxes, looked at your money differently. And that's a conversation that you need to have with your bookkeeper, your tax preparer, somebody. And again, this whole thing is a Profit First, really reaching out to somebody like myself that's certified, that understands what Profit First is, and helping each business individually as to what's going to fit their needs the best. So, as I said, you're still going to log into your bank account, but instead of seeing one big bank balance or, just one account and saying, not thinking about your purposes, not thinking about all the things that you have to reach. You have to pay those taxes. you have to buy, you have to pay for your operating expenses. We all get that. But really understanding your business, and another part of this is that if you have allocated your money for your operating expense and you are realizing that you're having to borrow, I'm going to use this reference, Peter to pay Paul, there's something wrong in your business. You're either not bringing in enough revenue or you're spending too much. So with this system, it's again, like I said, we're purposing your money, but you are going to see those red flags in your business a lot sooner than waiting for your bookkeeper to get your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. And you go, oh, I spent more money than I did last year, or I didn't make as much income as I did last year or this month. Those flags are going to pop up quicker because if you have not allocated enough into your operating account and you're having to borrow from your owner's pay account or you're having to borrow from your tax account to pay that bill, we need to reevaluate your business. Maybe your percentages are incorrect. I'm not saying that we need to say, hey, don't spend your money. We need to say maybe your allocations, we need to look at those differently. Maybe and I'm going to give you a little situation that happened this year. When I originally ran my Profit First assessment allocations for my own business, I was a solo entrepreneur. I didn't have staff. I didn't have payroll. I didn't have rent. I didn't have, what it takes to run an office. So my percentages as a solo entrepreneur were different. I reran them as of 2021 from the 2020 numbers. I had to readjust my percentage allocations because now my business required more from me. The operating expenses required more than I originally needed by myself because I now have payroll. I now have staff to take care of. I have their taxes that I have to take care of. I have all the state taxes that I have to. So sometimes, when I talk about going into doing this Profit First, and I also want to say that the second phase is very simple. It's not that hard, but what ultimately the benefit of reaching out to someone like me is that you're going to have somebody to have these conversations with, somebody that can understand your financials, somebody that can say, hey, your business is changing. The face of your business has shifted. Maybe it's doing really well. Maybe it's not doing so well. We have to be able to have those conversations to adjust those percentages, because if you're not adjusting those, you're setting yourself up for disaster. It's really, and I understand, the whole Profit First. If you've read the book, you understand. You pick your percentage for a quarter and you stay there, and you really try really hard not to change it. But I'm a small business owner, just as anybody that I'm talking to that I would be willing to help is a small business owner. Us as small business owners, we have to do what it takes. It doesn't matter. Somebody can tell you, hey, you have to stay in this. But if your business is doing something that is not comfortable, you need to be able to adjust rather quickly. So again, really having those conversations and having somebody that can help consult on your business, can help understand and maybe tell you things that you don't necessarily like to hear. I'm sorry, but that's what our job is. You're paying us to make you profitable. And if you're overspending, we're going to tell you you're overspending. I mean, it's just part of the process. And you may not like us telling you that, but our ultimate goal at the end is just the same as yours. Make your business profitable. Make sure that you're paying yourself your reasonable salary so you continue to do this business, continue to love this business, continue to appreciate your why. Again, that's my whole process of why I'm having these conversations. So, as I said, the second phase is a little bit more complicated, but really having somebody like myself, that is a professional to help you walk through this is going to make it easier and going to make it simpler. I'm not trying to make your job harder, and I'm not trying to add any more to your plate. I'm trying to make you better understand your money and how it's working for you in your business rather than you working in the business for the money. It's a little bit of a different thought process when you finally actually understand making your money work for you rather than the other way around. So, like I said, I know I'm trying to make this more simpler than it is. I don't want to make this any harder. I don't want you to overthink it. I'm going to get into kind of the purpose of why you want to hire a professional for Profit First, and why you want to kind of work with that consulting that consulting person that's going to help you understand. We're going to look at your financial statements, and we're going to run what is called a Profit First financial assessment. This is where we understand how your business currently is serving you and what percentages you're currently at. Then we run a rollout plan. We say in the next 6 to 8 quarters, we go from what is current allocation percentages to what they call target allocation percentages. So you'll hear me say caps, that's current allocations, and you'll hear me say TAPs, target allocation. So the purpose of this is to understand where you currently are, run that rollout plan, and understand over the next 6 to 8 quarters, what is your targets? What do you ultimately would like to see come out of your business? So right now, maybe you're not taking that 1% profit and you want to get to 10%. Maybe you want to get to 8, maybe you want to get to 15. We look at how that targets out. Are you currently taking money out of your business? And how much is that? Is it enough? We usually start backwards. We look at how much are you taking out of the business, because we know that you need that money to live. So we start there, and then we look at operating expenses, and then the other two, the tax and the profit, are basically what's left over. And then we work within those to see, can we get you from that 1% to that 10%? Can we get your taxes from 0% to 12 or 15%, which is what you're supposed to be doing? Can we get your operating expenses from 80% down to maybe, 45, 48%? Again, all of these percentages are going to be different depending on your business. What are the requirements of your business? How big is your business? How much money are you bringing into your business? So these percentages all change. I'm just throwing out some random ones so that you understand. And again, I've talked about this, and I don't want people to not talk to a professional, not, think that you need help and you're going to go get started on this and you're going to start doing 15% profit. Your business, if it's not currently producing 15% profit right out the gate, if that's what you're putting away, you're going to shortchange something and you're not going to survive. So you have to be careful in your percentages, how you work these, how you change them each quarter, and how you adjust them based on your business. So having a plan to stick to and work through with someone can help you understand this process better, and also help hold you accountable. Because if you're on your own, who says, I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like doing my allocations this week. I don't want to do my 12% anymore. You have to have conversations. We're there to help you, hold you accountable. We need to understand why you think you need to change those. Is it because you just don't want to do it anymore? Or is something going on in your business that's making you feel this way? And can we help you understand and get through that process maybe a little bit faster? Just so that you don't derail yourself. So as I said, we're going to figure out the caps and the TAPs once we complete out that rollout. And then what this does is it becomes the blueprint for your business. I do up a PowerPoint presentation. I share my report with you, and we talk about each quarter how we're going to slowly get from your current to your target, and making sure that you're comfortable with that. Do we need to adjust it? Maybe we need to stretch it a little bit longer. So that's really what this blueprint is to understand what you're going to do for the next 6, 8, maybe 10 quarters. It depends on how long it takes. The typical ones are going to be 6 to 8 quarters. So as I said, each percentage is going to be a little bit different depending on your business. These processes, once you kind of go through this process and see your money flow, see that you are producing these percentages that you're looking for, you start feeling a little bit better about your business. You start feeling a little bit more comfortable. It relieves a little bit of stress. I will honestly tell you that it does that. When you start planning with your money and you actually know that you have the money for the purposes that your business requires, you do start feeling a little bit more at ease. I can't say that you're still going to stress about it, but at least you're going to stress a little less. So this rollout plan, it will tell us if you're not paying yourself enough, if you're not saving enough, if you're spending too much on your operating expenses. And I can't tell you that I've been a bookkeeper for over 20 years. And I can't tell you that a profit and loss statement is going to tell you whether you've paid yourself enough or whether you've saved for taxes, because the taxes don't even show up on the profit and loss statement. And if you're spending too much, as long as you've got either a small net profit or at least a bigger net profit, we only seem to worry about our P&L, our profit and loss statement, when it goes into the negative. That's the only time we seem to worry about it. But I think we really need to worry about, are we paying ourselves our value to continue to work in this business? Are you paying your taxes? So I'm going to tell you a little story about one of my clients that I did a profit first assessment on. Great business. I've had these clients 17 years. So they're a really great group of guys. They know how to run their business. They're smart. They do a great job with their business. When we started, they were at 63% operating expense, which isn't horrible for roughly about a $4.5 million business. But we tasked them within 2 quarters trying to drop it. So we went from 63%, we were going to drop it down to, I think in the first quarter, 61%, and then we were going to go to 59% in the second quarter. They ended up in 1 quarter going from 63% to 58%. Awesome. Love it. I was excited for them. They were excited. But at the same time, they said, what do we need to do now? And it's like, well, hold off, guys. Let's keep your consistent allocation percentages that we talked about. And if you go another quarter where you either reduce it to 58%, you stay at 58%, or you reduce it even a little bit more, then we can celebrate a little bit more. We could possibly change your percentage allocations, not put so much to operating expenses. But I needed them to stay consistent, because if they went and changed all of a sudden to 58% without fully understanding what caused that drop of operating expenses, who's to say that next quarter they weren't going to be back up at 63%? We needed to understand why. And then I needed them to prove to me that they could do it another quarter before we went and did some adjustments. So that's the part of the accountability that I said, hey, hold on, guys. I'm very proud of you. I'm very glad that you guys did it so full force, that they really were excited about it and they really wanted to see how they could benefit from this. But I wanted them to also be careful. Again, as I state, those small plates, really making those small allocations and not diving into this too fast to cause failure. So, again, one of the things that we also talk about is, yes, this client did drop from 63% to 58%, but we're also not trying to spend every penny that's in your operating account. We also are trying to create that cushion, because every business, as we all know through this pandemic, we should have had 3, possibly 6 months. 6 months is great, but even 3 months in our operating account for reserves. So again, that drop in their operating expense was awesome. But we also need to know that we're planning for a disaster. We're planning for an economic crisis. We're planning for whatever comes next, that we can sustain our business if there's a fall in sales. So, again, do you have debt? I'm not going to deprive you of your profit. The whole point of this is to pay profit first. But if you have debt, you truly don't have a profitable business. You want to take an allocation of your profit account. I mean, you want to take your reward, of course. But at the same time, we want to take the majority of that profit and pay down debt. The faster we can pay down debt, the more profit we've created. Because again, we're not having to borrow from that operating expense, or we're not having to put money back into our business to pay for it. We work on paying down that debt, but still rewarding you while we're doing it. So I know that some of the things that I've said may sound like a lot, but just stick with me, okay? I'm here to guide you through this process. I'm not going to leave you out there by yourself. I'm not going to leave you to figure this out. I'm here to help you understand this process, understand what your percentages are in your business currently, and how do we get you to get the success of the taps that you're looking for out of your business. So the second part of this is the rhythm. We talked about, allocations. I mean, what are these allocations? These are transfers from your income account to your other 4 accounts, your tax account, your profit account, your owner's pay account, and your operating expense. So we sit down, and it depends. The book states the 10th and the 25th. I personally, and if any of you go back and listen to my interview with Mike McCowitz, the author of the book, we both do weekly. It's just what fits in our business. So the book states 10th and 25th. There's nothing set in concrete that has to be your allocation rhythm. So we work through this process, and we make this system work. And again, as I stated, profit first is a behavioral. It's not an event. It's a behavior. So all we're doing is getting you into this habit, the behavioral habit of doing the rhythms and seeing your allocations and understanding your money. So I'm going to kind of get into a little bit of background on my business. The name of my business is Custom Bookkeeping. The reason I picked Custom Bookkeeping, it wasn't because it sounded cool, even though I think it does, is because as a bookkeeper, I understand that every business owner is different. Your personality is different. Your business is different. How you look at money is different. So when I work with my bookkeeping and accounting clients, we customize a plan. Some people have talked about value pricing, and I don't know if people are familiar with value pricing, but what that is we, some accountants and bookkeeper professionals will create a package and say, okay, we offer you, 1, 2, and 3. I don't do that in my business because that takes away from the purpose of my name. Custom Bookkeeping is there to be a custom bookkeeping plan. And I will treat my profit first clients exactly the same, because profit first has to be customized to each person, each business, and how you work your money. So I want to just say that if you choose to work with me on profit first, I'm going to be there to be your coach. I'm going to be there to help hold you accountable, but also make this as easy and enjoyable as it possibly can for you, and make sure that this plan fits your business, not the other way around. So one of the processes that we'll have is conversations about your goals. What do you want out of your business? What is your long-term goal? We set up monthly, quarterly, annual goals. We talk about moving forward. What do you look forward to? Maybe you're towards the end of your career. What does your exit strategy look like? We try to plan profit first around that. So a couple things. You get your benefit out of your business while you're still working in it, but also proving that your business is a viable, really pretty picture, sellable business. Because when you can prove that you have profits and you're paying yourself a reasonable salary and you're paying your taxes and the business is paying for all of this, the picture of that business to sell is way prettier than if you didn't plan for it correctly. So as I stated before, you can do this on your own, but the simplest way is to stay course and have someone to hold you accountable. Again, Profit First is a cash flow management system that dishes out money to you when it's available. If you run out of money in your operating account that you have allotted, your business is costing you more, and you cannot continue to run in that state of frame. In that frame of your business. You will not sustain a loss in your business for very long. You will have to do something to make those changes. So, again, I'm probably not going to dive too much into that because I've really talked about, just making sure that you're not doing off the cuff changes when they're not necessary. Money and finances are 10% logic and 90% emotions. Profit First from a logical standpoint is easy. But again, having someone like myself helps take that emotional side, that 90% of emotions out of your business. Having someone that can help you make these business decisions without truly being vested into your business is the best thing that you can have, because I'm not attached. I don't have those emotional ties to your business. I'm somebody from the outside looking in and helping you run that business the best you can. Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right thing. That's a quote by Peter Drucker. Okay, so entrepreneurs start their business for personal and financial reasons, doing what you want, when you want, and not worrying about paying your bills and money. But we all seem to still worry about our bills and money. I'm trying to help you understand that Profit First can make the stress of those bills and money just a little bit easier. It's a simple thing. It's a simple system to put into your business. And I'm not asking you, again, to do anything different than you really are. It's just having a plan. So this isn't, and these are some things that some people have said before. They want to know if Profit First is like a pyramid scheme. Is it a get rich scheme? No, it's not. It's you taking the money in your business and just creating purpose. That's it. So as I wrap up today, as I told you, the first step, get your butt to the bank, start doing the 1%. Reach out, have somebody help you understand what your caps are, your current allocations, what are your taps, help you get through this process. So the next thing is to reach out and have somebody like myself prepare that blueprint for you and help you get Profit First implemented in your business. The next podcast that I'm going to talk about is, like I said, the third phase, which is the rhythm and repeat. Once you've gone through the initial implementation of Profit First, the whole job is to not derail yourself and say, oh, we're done. It's to keep the consistency, the rhythm, the repeat. You stay in that rhythm and repeat, and you'll stay profitable. You'll have a business that you love. You'll have a business that's rewarding you. You'll have a business that's paying your taxes. So I'm going to wrap it up today. Please reach out to me. All the podcasts are on letsmakeaprofitpodcast.com. You can reach out to me by 253-514-8564 or also Rebecca@yourcustombookkeeper.com. Thank you and have a great day.